Alright, welcome to Video Game Reviews. Today we're going to be talking about Streets of Rage 4 on the Nintendo Switch. And it is an amazing beat-em-up, as you can see already. The artistic style, the direction that they went in with this one, pretty impressive. It's just cool looking. Here I've got one of the cutscenes for you. They all look great. A lot of style, like heavily stylized. And it's a pretty straightforward beat 'em up. Not really any RPG elements to speak of except for what we're looking at right here, which is your points at the end of each stage kind of act like experience. That allows you to unlock additional characters, and there are quite a few additional characters to unlock, and we're going to see it again coming up right here. Okay, so you're going to see this bar in a sec, so these are the points for the stage, obviously. Now on this bar, each one of those diamonds represents another character that you can unlock. And so right now I've just unlocked Zan from Streets of Rage 3. And he's the next to the last character that you unlock. Alright, and so a lot of the characters that you do unlock are from the previous games. You unlock almost every character from the previous games, except for the kangaroo, I think is the only one that you don't, but was a secret character anyways from Part 3. So right now, you see that I'm playing with Axel, the Streets of Rage 1 version. And the graphics are the same on his character from the first game, but also another cool touch, I thought, was that they used the same sound effects, like whenever he lands a punch. And so the thing about these older characters is they don't have the same move set. You know, the technique is not as elaborate. The combos are not as elaborate. But to compensate for that, like the speed with which he was throwing punches and the power when he hits, I mean, he was taken out. I don't know if you want to rewind that, but enemies go down quick with those Streets of Rage 1 characters. Now here I'm playing with Axel from Streets of Rage 3, who still retains, I would say, most of the speed and a lot of the power from the Streets of Rage 1 characters, but expanded upon that, I would say he's probably a little bit slower, but his technique or his moveset is much more elaborate, and I would say actually that the Streets of Rage 3 characters, their movesets and the complexity with which they play it's slightly different, but it's pretty much on par with the Streets of Rage 4 versions of those same characters. Oh, and now here's the Streets of Rage 4 version of Axel. You can see he's put on some pounds over the years. The new style looks great, man. I'm loving it. I love the new art style, man. I know I've said that before, but really solid choice. You know, and you can see there earlier also another thing that's worth pointing out is how environmental effects, you know, bottomless pits and other hazards affect your enemies just the same way that they would affect you. So that's always a nice thing to see. And one of the things that I'm going to do in my videos is let the game breathe, especially if it's a game that I like to just play and show. You know, I'm just going to let the game breathe. I'm not going to, you know, I'm going to speak when I have something to say, but if not, you know, I'm just going to let the game speak for itself. Now that was a badass move. Okay, so you have two types of power moves. The first type of power move, that thing right there that he's doing right now, it's kind of a cool concept where, so in every fighting game you have these moves that drain your life bar. But in this one, when you use that sort of that kind of move, your life bar drains, but the drained portion turns green instead of yellow, and you can gain that drained section back if you land hits and don't get hit. If that makes sense. You'll see it happen throughout the video. See, he just used one right there, that dragon kick thing. And now, this by the way, this is Adam Hunter, and this is the first time that he's been a playable character in a Streets of Rage game since the first one. And he makes a pretty solid return. He's actually the first character that you unlock. And anyway, he's great. He handles really well. Oh, but I didn't even tell you the other type of special move. On the lower right-hand corner of the health bar, you'll see these. Now, Adam doesn't have any currently, but ordinarily you'll see these little yellow stars. And so however many stars you have, that's how many of those you can use. Those do not drain your life, but they take one of your stars. And those, I would say, tend to be your most powerful moves. Alright, now here we are with Blaze from Streets of Rage 4. The current game, obviously. Okay, there's her star move. So anyway, another one of the important things that I never really heard anybody else mention that I did want to point out about this game is that it is like I said, obviously it's a great beat 'em up. I'm going to say that it's probably the best beat 'em up that doesn't really have RPG elements, period. And it's also one of my favorite Switch games, like absolutely one of my favorite Switch games. And I've never even played it on multiplayer because I don't have Nintendo's online service, so I can't play multiplayer. So I imagine that adds, obviously, like a whole new element to the game that would be amazing. But even just on single player, I have, since this video, I've played through and actually finished collecting every unlockable character that you can get. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've played through this game. It is tons of fun. Alright, now this character here is Cherry Hunter. It's Adam Hunter's daughter, I think. And I have to tell you, when I first started playing this game, I kind of thought that she was sort of garbage. She's alright, but she's one of those characters that's fast, but like super, super weak. And it just felt like it took forever to kill regular enemies, but then there was an update. I feel like she's balanced a little bit more, a little bit better. And also she has that dash move right there, that little knee dash thing that she does, which is a regular move, costs you nothing to do, and it can pretty much get you out of most situations. So she's not the strongest character, but if you play her right, she's like Floyd Mayweather, I think, is famous for not getting hit and just wearing his opponents out in the boxing ring, and so that's kind of what she does. Like, she's not the strongest, but you almost like can't touch her. Okay, now here's Skate. This is Skate from Streets of Rage 3. He's another fast but weak character, and I don't like him as well. Between the two, I would go with Cherry for sure. but I'm sure he's got his fans. I'm sure there's somebody out there whose favorite character is Skate. Now here is Dr. Zan, also from Streets of Rage 3. He's kind of a weird dude. He plays differently. There you go again with the environmental effect on the enemies, and you know that can be a really good strategy in certain situations. Oh, now this is the cool thing about Dr. Zan, though. I don't know if you saw there. When he picks up a weapon, any weapon, he does something totally unique with it from all the other characters. It turns into like this glowing ball, and I feel like when he throws weapons, they are stronger than when other characters do that. Dude, and I just want to take a minute. There were a few other points that I missed too, but I just want to. This is one of my favorite backgrounds in a level within this game, and the detail it's beautiful and it's insane. Now here's Max from Streets of Rage 2. He was like my go-to character in that game. That brings up a point that I really wanted to point out. When I was thinking about buying this game, I thought back to my time playing Streets of Rage 2 back in the day when that was a new game on the Genesis. And it's great, no doubt about it, but I'm saying, looking back on it now, like most beat 'em ups, Streets of Rage 2 is extremely repetitive, and I was worried about that here. And I have to tell you, that is not a concern. It just isn't. I don't know, man. Between the beautiful presentation and the more elaborate fighting techniques that are present here, and the unlocking of additional characters, this one also, I feel like in Streets of Rage 2, the stages were way too long and just went on forever, and it seemed like you were just fighting the same three people over and over again, which might be true to some extent here, but this game just does not get old in the same way that Streets of Rage 2 did, or would today. Back in the day it was awesome, but to play it now, frankly, I think it's kind of boring. Okay, so now, here's another one of the brand new characters for Streets of Rage 4. This is Floyd, and so he's like, another hulking giant, but there's one thing that he can do that no one else in the game can do, and that is grab two enemies at the same time and bash them together, and it's a really powerful move. I think you're going to see it here shortly. There you go. There it was. Well, man, I think I've said just about everything that I need to say, so I'm going to shut up and let y'all enjoy some of this music.